Well, hey, you guys, I hope you are having a good spring break. And if you are still observing your fast plants, I'm wondering if they're looking like the picture in the upper right-hand corner. That's what mine look like. And that's not what they are supposed to look like. So I did some more reading, and what I discovered was the fast plants were genetically engineered to grow under constant white light. So if you simply have them like I did in a windowsill or on the counter, they're not going to grow well. So what I did yesterday was I set up my little hydro garden that you can see in the lower left hand picture, and I put some fast plant seeds in those, and that provides a constant water source, and it also provides constant light. So I'm going to leave that, and then I'll take pictures of that every week, and then in fact I can even bring some of those plants to class so you can see what the fast plants are looking like. If you would like to replant some fast plant seeds and then put them under some sort of a light bulb or a grow light or something like that at your house, then I'll bring some seeds to class next time and you can do that. Okay? So let's move on. Last time we were together, we dissected seeds, and you saw the various parts of a seed. You'll notice too that different authors, different textbooks give different names to some of the parts of a seed, and I'm not going to test you on the parts or the names of the seed, but just know that some people use different terms. And then Bo set up for us that investigation about how we can answer the question, what's absolutely necessary for a growth or for a seed to grow, in order for a seed to germinate. So hopefully he will have some results for us at the next class, and we'll see what he has to say. The other thing that we did was take a look at the parts of a flower, and you identified many of those flower parts. But what I want to talk to you about today is the fact that flowers actually have male parts and female parts because they go through what we refer to as sexual reproduction. The male parts of a flower are the stamen is the general overall term, but that includes the anther and the filament. The filament is that long stringy thing on the left-hand side, and the anther is that bit at the top. The anther is where the pollen is made, and from which the pollen then is used to fertilize the female part of the plant. The female part of the plant altogether is called the pistil, but that's made up of the stamen, which is a sticky part up on top, the style, which is a long tubular type structure, and then the ovary at the bottom. And you guys probably already know enough about sexual reproduction to know that female organisms have ovaries, and so that's the same term that we use here with a part of a flower. So in order to fertilize a seed, the pollen has to get from the male part to the female part where the egg is, and the egg is down inside the ovary. So what happens is an insect or the wind or an animal comes along, gets some of the pollen on its body, and then that ends up being transferred to the stigma part of the plant. And then what happens is the pollen actually grows what's called a pollen tube down the style, and then the sperm, which is inside the pollen, transfers down that tube and then finds the egg at the bottom and then fertilizes that egg. And here's an example of this diagram showing that pollen tube that's being created and the sperm cells inside of that, and then it finds its way all the way down to the ovary where those eggs are. So here's an actual video of that taking place.
Flower is pollinated and the pollen lands here, but it still isn't fertilization. The nucleus in the pollen still has to reach the nucleus in the egg, down here. Now the pollen grows a long tube, like a long straw, which funnels the nucleus to the egg.
Seen under a microscope, these pollen grains are germinating. Pollen tubes are growing from the pollen grains. The male nucleus from the pollen passes down the tube. on its way to the female egg cell, where they will fuse and fertilization will be complete.
So again, when we get there with our fast plants, I'll be able to show you that process. There's some reading for you to do on various websites this week. Make sure you have your notebooks and take some notes on that, and we will discuss that material next time we're together and then do another activity. Thanks.